So we got regulations here. With it starting out, it seems that Pokemon Scarlet and Violet Ranked Battles Regulation J rule set has been officially revealed using 2 restricted Pokemon, including Mythicals. This runs from December 1st all the way to January for the online ladder. And so you're probably thinking, how does that work for VGC? Well, VGC is going back to Regulation H until November of 2025. So the first couple of tournaments are going to be Regulation H again. A lot of people are starting to speculate that they are going to basically follow the same format they did last year. But we're going to start out talking about Reg J because I want to do that quickly. And then we'll talk about Reg H. So I'm recording this. If I edit it into a YouTube video and you're watching this, Reg J will be one video, Reg H will be the other. So we've seen this before, right? We have seen this with Series 13 and Sword and Shield, but it's a little different this time around. One, we don't have Dynamax covering for like a lot of weaknesses. Like a lot of Mons became a lot more usable when you could double their HP and power up their moves, as well as the fact that Series 13 was basically a casual battle, right? It was casual rules. So you could basically bring any Pokemon. So you could have mythical Pokemon, but you could also have like 5 legendaries as well. So this is where it gets a little bit different from what I've saw so far for Reg J, and I hope I'm correct in this, is that your mythical will take up one of your restricted slots. So honestly, right now, besides like a couple of mythicals, I really don't see a lot of people who look at your Calyrex Shadow Rider, your Miraidon comps, your Koraidon Lunala, your Koraidon Shadow Rider, your Miraidon Ice Rider, your Shadow Rider Zamazenta, your Kyogre Zacian. Like, I don't know if I see a lot of these Mons that you look at and you're like, I want them over my Calyrex Shadow Rider. I do think some of them might be pretty good. Some of them are going to be pretty gimmicky, right? For example, Mew. We can just start off with Mew. And Mew, from kind of what I'm looking at, it can learn any TM in the game. So it's pretty much like a Smeargle in a way. But Smeargle has a little more availability where it can get a whole bunch of different moves. Like, I don't think there is a TM for Spore, for example. So you're not going to have this fast Spore Pokemon, right? Like you would with a Smeargle that might get a speed boost. Things like Wide Guard. Do you get Wide Guard? No Wide Guard. You get Trick Room. Do you get Follow Me? No. So I think we can chalk Mew up here as gimmicky. You could use it as support. You could use it as random stuff here and there. But like, honestly, like, Mew is really not going to take up a restricted slot, right? The only appeal it might have is the fact that you are surprising your opponent. That's about it. Jirachi is really the same way. Like the Steel and Psychic, it could be decent, but I feel like with Shadow Rider, it's kind of eh. Deoxys, I would have to say Deoxys is the first one. Let's go for a box. Deoxys speed form. Having that 180 speed What is your max speed hitting? 202. If we give you a timid nature, 222. So you're speed tying CSR, right? Yeah, you're speed tying CSR. So I think if you want to run Deoxys, like, you're going to have to run the speed form. And I mean, at that point, like, when you're looking at the attack and the special attack, like, so like when you're looking at the attack and the special attack, like, the difference between 95 and like 180 is such a big deal when you look at attack and speed. Like yeah, like with the most minimal investment, actually you still need a decent amount. You still need 180 if you go timid. You only need 12 to speed tie it, 20 to outspeed Shadow Rider. You could go knockoff. So that could be a route that you might want to take with Deoxys, but like at most I'm thinking just like max, like Focus Sash, and then you can go expanding force spam, right? That's about the most you're gonna get out of it. The only good thing is, like, you could do things like knock off and stuff. You could have like a fast taunt, super fast taunt. But this Pokemon will hit hard, so I could see some people taking like advantage of the Deoxys. But yeah, I don't think Deoxys is gonna be it. If so, you're gonna want to run the attack form, and at that point it's just a Focus Sash mon. Let's bring the box back. Phione and Manaphy, like, same thing. Like, they're gimmicky. Darkrai would be good if Dark Void didn't get nerfed because of Smeargle. Shaymin, what's its speed hitting? Because Shaymin has two forms. For battling, you're probably going to want to use the Sky form. And Seringrace could be pretty good for like air slash flinches. And then there's Seed Flare, which has a chance to lower the special defense by 2. Like, I could see Shaymin taking advantage of Terra really well. But we'll have to see. Its move pool is very for the Seringrace, I want to say. But yeah, maybe like Dazzling Gleam, or like if you want to take advantage of Seringrace, like you can go Earth Power. Like being grass flying, it's going to make it hard against like Miraidon and stuff. And the bulk is okay. So I want to say like Shaymin maybe. Do I see it taking a restricted slot? Like, I'm uncertain about that. Arceus is another thing where, like Mew, it's a little better than Mew because its stats are a little better. But like Mew, like you could use it for just about anything. And so the only thing is, if you want something other than the normal type, you have to put the plate on it. And so that's going to hurt it there, where like you get these stats that are pretty good, but you also don't get an item. But at the same time, like you can customize it in any way you see fit. So that's going to be something that makes Arceus pretty good, is like the surprise factor. Not to mention, like, just the normal one is going to be able to avoid, you know, Astral Barrage. You could do Extreme Speed. You know, you can just make this like a super hyped up Dragonite in all honesty. And it has such like a wide move pool. And then you can just change the type like base with its Terra if you need to Terra it, if you want to run an item on it. So Arceus is one of those ones I could see people like squeezing in somehow. especially if you want something with that extreme speed. It's Judgment, right? Judgment is his move. Yeah, a base 100, but like if you're going in on the extreme speed, like you do get access to like Swords Dance and stuff. So I could see Arceus having some potential, and especially on the online ladder with the best of 1, I could definitely see Arceus being used as a big surprise factor. Like you don't know what it's going to have until you see it get on the field, and even when you do see its typing on the field, that only is going to tell you like what typing Judgment is going to be, and then Arceus as well can change the typing of Judgment through its Terra. So yeah, I could see the Arceus surprise factor being a big thing to help it out. But I could also see it as just like a extreme speed. Like, I believe they call it the extreme speed killer in like singles and stuff. I could see people taking that over. Like, it's going to be really good in singles, I want to say. Judgment plus Terra normal. I mean, it's a base 100. If you do something like Choice Specs, if you're doing Terra normal. But I think if you're doing Terra normal, like, and that's the great thing about Arceus, is that like you can be a physical attacker or a special attacker. So like the surprise factor is going to play a big deal. Keldeo, I don't think Keldeo is going to be good because you're just run Urshifu. Meloetta, I don't think there's really that big of a place for it. Serene Grace ability here. You do have the ability to switch through typings with its what's its move called? Relic Song. And the 10% chance to fall asleep, I mean, it could be fun. It's got a decent special defense. And not bad speed, you know? Like base 90. I could see you EVing this to do pretty decent. And the special defense isn't bad here. Well, with Serene Grace, the secondary chances effect, so you actually have a 20% chance to fall asleep, I want to say. So yeah, I don't know about Meloetta. Diancie here. Clear body's fine. What did speed? It could be a decent like Trick Room body press user. You still have to watch out for Ice Rider, like even though you are neutral to the glacial lands, like the high horsepower is going to hit you really hard unless you could do that with the Terra, but clear body, you don't have to deal with stat changes, and of course it gets access to body press, so you could, you know, if you have the 0 speed Diancie or a low speed one, it can do decently well in Trick Room. Diamond Storm having a chance to raise defenses up to 2 by 2, and then even if you don't want to do that, like it does get, I believe it gets Iron Defense, because it's basically just like it's an evolved Carbink. Yeah, it gets Iron Defense. Is there one that raises its special defense as well? Amnesia. I really don't think you would need both. Body Press, Diamond Storm. Iron Defense and Protect. Yeah, so it could be a decent Trick Room on. Especially with access to Body Press, Iron Defense, and Diamond Storm. So a couple good turns and you could be +4 and start doing really good damage with its base 150 defense. You could honestly do something. Probably wouldn't want to do that. Probably want to like tweak it out a little more. But just put like leftovers on it. Hoopa, regular Hoopa, I'm uncertain, but like Hoopa Unbound could be decent here. And so Magician is if this Pokemon has no item, it steals it off of the Pokemon it hits. So you could take advantage of this with something like Electric Seed here with Miraidon. Because if you look, you can see its defense is lacking at 60 stats. Like when you're looking at the rest of the Pokemon, its physical defense is its weak spot. So the Electric Seed could actually really make up for that. And so you can start the field. You have things like Knockoff to work against Calyrex. Like what other physical moves that we have? Drain Punch isn't bad. Foul Play as well. Zen Headbutt, but like I think really the only thing you're hitting hard with Zen Headbutt is Zamazenta, which could be kind of good. Does it get access to Play Rough? You have Hyperspace Fury. It goes through Protect, but it lowers the defense by 1. So that's counterproductive. I think Knockoff is better in VGC. Fling, Giga Impact. Phantom Force. 2-turn move. But Knockoff Zen Headbutt, and like you can spec it out pretty well with the stats that it has. The speed is like the speed and the defense is like the speed is kind of mid. But I think like using the Electric Seeds to get the +1 in defense and then using the Magician ability to get items off of Pokemon could actually be somewhat beneficial. Would Magician still work with Knockoff? I think the ability should proc. Okay, so Knockoff won't steal an item. So Thief. Do we have Brick Break? We have Brick Break. That could deal with screens. And it being a dark type means that it has like... It does something against the CSR. It's high special defense. You could work around other Miraidons a little. The only thing I would worry about is like, you know, the Body Press Zamazenta. Because like Body Press against a dark type. I mean, it's a neutral hit, but I do think there could be some fun stuff you could do with this Electric Seed, like Magician set. Next up is Volcanion, and I do agree with you guys in the chat. I do think Volcanion is actually going to be decent. Not Vol, no, not you. Because it has Water Absorb. And so if you're not going against a water type, it's kind of a meh ability. But also, like, when I first started thinking about Volcanion, I was thinking of Walking Wake. I'm like, why would you use this over Walking Wake? Well, you don't have to worry about like the fairy weakness. Where is Hydro Steam? I do think, I know Hydro Steam is an exclusive move to Walking Wake, but I do think Volcanion should get it as well. It has Steam Eruption, which is just basically a stronger Scald with a slight chance to miss. And so I wish Volcanion got Hydro Steam because it just makes sense. But it is immune with the Water Absorb, so it could potentially beat out the Walking Wake because of that immunity. And so where I think Volcanion would actually do really well is maybe like being an Assault Vest user. Because you have a high defense, you have a decent HP, you have decent like special attack. Steam Eruption has the chance to burn. So this is one of those things where like you can work in either rain or sun with your typing. And so I want to say that my only recommendation would probably be like Terra Ground with Earth Power to go up against Miraidons. And then for the last move, like Weather Ball. That way you have like the single target. Heat Wave. You have in the rain you'd still want to use Steam Eruption, I would say. Yeah, no, I do think Volcanion, if you don't want to go the Weather Ball, I would go something like Sludge Bomb just for coverage. You do get access to Heavy Slam. I forget, is Volcanion a heavy Pokemon? It looks like a heavy Pokemon. I think that would max out the Heavy Slam calcs. It would hit a Flutter Mane pretty hard still. You could go Heavy Slam. If you don't want to run the Assault Vest, you could go Wisp. And it does get access to Wild Charge, like, so you could also hit the water Pokemon back. We really don't want to use Fling. Gets access to Misty Terrain. I don't understand that one. I'm not gonna lie. Why does Volcanion get access to Misty Terrain? You could do something like this. You could sacrifice a little to get a little bit faster and speed, but I do think Volcanion could be one of those mons that like it, you know, it could sit on the field against Kyogre. Like Kyogre isn't doing anything to it. Urshifu with Surging Strikes isn't doing anything to it. I would have to see. I'd probably have to do like, I would probably want it to calc it to make sure it could survive a collision course. That might be hard. So it survives a collision course, but not a close combat. And then you're still like chipping it down. And like, unfortunately, like Steam Eruption, like it's still weakened in the sun. That's why I think it should get Hydro Steam. Well, so with Volcanion, I would probably want the Terra Ground to help against Miraidon. And so if we Terra here, you're still not living it. And then Flare Blitz becomes like a roll to KO. But if it's a clear amulet set, you do live the clear amulet, you just don't live the life orb. But I think being able to deal with Miraidon is a little better. And I think if you were trying to go up against the Koraidon. Okay, Steam Eruption is a 2-hit KO in the sun against this fragile one. I do think like I do think an Assault Vest Volcanion would be pretty decent. Yeah, Magearna's who we're gonna talk about next, because Magearna was a terror in Series 13 and is going to be pretty good coming back. So Magearna is usually used as a Trick Room Mon if you can get it at a low IV. I think I have one that's like 5 speed IVs, so you could get it down pretty low with its IVs, where it becomes a decent it becomes a really good Trick Room Mon. Where is quiet? So you can do something like this, and the thing that makes Magearna so scary here, and this is where I could see like Hoopa taking advantage of Psych Up against something like a Magearna, but then Magearna is also a fairy type, so like Hoopa would have to have a Terra like just to try to counter the Magearna. The Magearna has Soul Heart, and so what Soul Heart does, if you've never used it, is that it gets a +1 in special attack every time another Pokemon faints. This is not just your Pokemon, this is any Pokemon on the field. So if you get a knockout, Magearna gets a +1. If they get a knockout, Magearna gets a +1. If a Pokemon goes down to poison, Magearna gets another +1. And so getting those +1s, you can take advantage of Floor Cannon. I don't know if I'm ever saying it right, but it lowers the special attack by 2. You also have access to things like Flash Cannon here. You can be the Trick Room setter yourself. Although I do think most people also want like something that boosts. Do we get Nasty Plot? No. So like the only thing you would have to use is like Calm Mind. So this thing, its defenses are very solid. It's decently min-maxed with its attack being a lot not as high as it should be. But Magearna can boost up and take off really quick. Terra Steel and Terra Poison. I don't know. I think for Magearna, I want to say like just the Terra Water. Like something that helps with its ground weakness. Because Fairy is only really weak to Steel. Or Steel and Poison. Being a Steel type carries this. Like the Steel Fairy is like one of the best typings, right? So I think a good defensive typing like Water would cover it really well. I don't know. I want to see how Ice Rider handles it, especially if it is the Terra Water. Because Flash Cannon is going to do really well into an Ice Rider. If it Terras anything other than Fire, like Floor Cannon, I think we can see. We'll see if Terra Fire be a little more dominant on the Ice Riders because of Magearna. And then, so the last two are Zarude and Pecharunt. I know Herald is really excited for Zarude to come back. I could actually see Zarude be really well for the Sun teams. The Leaf Guard ability, like now that Koraidon is like pretty decent, and what's been pretty good this format. Thunderwave, Grimmsnarl. So if you remove the ability for Grimmsnarl to click Thunderwave, when the sun is up. Like that gives Miraidon and Fluttermane like chances to do like really well. It also gets jungle healing, which is basically lunar blessings that we saw Cresselia have. It actually came first. It heals a quarter of the health and statuses are cured. So this could be really good against Pokemon that get burned, Pokemon that are Pokemon that are prone to getting knocked out because they're paralyzed. Yes, it ignores sleep because it's already a grass type, but does Leaf Guard not protect your teammates? No, it looks like Leaf Guard doesn't protect like the opponents as well, or the partners as well. I mean, you still have the jungle healing, but if it's faster than you, I still feel like the combination of Leaf Guard and jungle healing like can be a good supportive tool. Zarude has pretty decent stats all around. Like you do have the access to the knockoff and the crunches. Like knockoff is still really good. Your best move, grass move, is Power Whip. But I could see someone running Zarude without like just jungle healing, knock off, taunt, and like maybe like protect. I could see people using it as a support Pokemon. No coaching. That'd be too good. Do we get Helping Hand? We do get Helping Hand. So yeah, I could honestly see Zarude being a decent a decent support Pokemon with jungle healing, taunt, Helping Hand, knock off, protect, and stuff like that. And its stats are not too bad. You know, the 120 attack, it's kind of like Ensign in a way. Like Ensign, like it benefits from having such a high attack that you don't have to invest a lot into it for it to still do damage, and that allows you to focus a little bit more on the bulk. Of course, you don't get access to Intimidate, Fake Out, Parting Shot, but I do think you get U-Turn. You do get U-Turn. So you could run it, you know, just spec it out like an Ensign. But yeah, I can see Zarude as a support Pokemon. It stinks. I thought at the beginning Leaf Guard was gonna be good, but it doesn't protect your allies, so not as good as what I thought it was. But I still think we could see Zarude play more of a supportive role in some teams. That being said, do you put it over an Ice Rider, a Miraidon, a Koraidon? I don't know. I feel like if you want it healing and taunt, you could do that you could tech those on other mons. Like Ensign gets access to taunt, and then you could also put like Pollen Puffamungus or something, like some form of healing, but like the healing of the status might be really good. So I could see Zarude. Does it take the place of a restricted? I don't know. Leech Seed? Do you get Leech Seed? So yeah, okay. So maybe Zarude wasn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be. And the last one is the newest one, and that's Pecharunt. Now, I haven't really used Pecharunt, but its ability is obnoxious. If this Pokemon poisons a target, it becomes confused. Does that include like toxic spikes? Will toxic spikes count for that? Oh, nope. Okay, so Poison Puppeteer is not affected by toxic spikes, but this Pokemon has a stupid amount of defense, so you could really do something with this. Does it get body press? No, that would be stupid. It's a ghost type. But the confusion here, you can do poison gas for spread poison, and then both those Pokemon are confused. That would be kind of a solid play here. You are still... You're 2 times weak to dark, 2 times weak to ghost, 2 times weak to ground. So a defensive typing is definitely going to be needed. But yeah, I think you could just be obnoxious with poison gas. Malignant Chain is probably better because you can be more selective on the mons that you use it against. It does damage and it also toxics. So I feel like Malignant Chain, you get more benefit. You also get access to Shadow Ball and Nasty Plot. Malignant Chain, Shadow Ball, Nasty Plot. The 88 speed, the 88's in everything, but defense is not bad, but like it's like you want a little bit more in speed. But yeah, I think Pecharunt could be good just by being like obnoxious. You could also tech on like the acid spray to have it complement other Pokemon as well. Your max speed 140. Let's go 154. $130, 231. I mean, you could do something. Not saying this is the best idea, but you could Choice Scarf Acid Spray. But at that point, like just use Fake Tears. I don't think that's gonna be decent. But yeah, I honestly, I don't think Meloetta is doing anything good. Maybe Shaymin. Arceus is definitely going to be good. Like Arceus is going to have that surprise factor. But Arceus could also be a physical or special attacker. So Arceus is definitely going to be decent on ladder. Diancie is going to be okay with the body press. I think there's things you can play around with Hoopa Unbound on Miraidon teams. Volcanion, I think, will be good on Sun teams. Any weather team, in all honesty. We could probably see Volcanion do decent. Magearna is going to be scary to go up against because it can just boost very quickly. Zarude, I think Zarude might have a place as like a support Pokemon. I'll let Herald cook with that. And then Pecharunt could be decent. I think Malignant Chain is going to be obnoxious. Just adding more RNG into it. But you can't poison. My thing is like Zamazenta. Like you'd be good against Zamazenta to a point. If Pecharunt gets good, like Wide Guard will come back. Like Shinobu said in the chat, I definitely think we can see more Terra Steel and Terra Poison in this format because of it. But yeah, I don't think the first couple of Pokemon, like maybe Jirachi for the same reasons as Shaymin, like the Serene Grace gimmicks, but like base 100 isn't that fast anymore. So it's not like Iron Head flinches are going to be harder to get. Like Deoxys attack, speed ties, Shadow Rider. So it would be decent against everything that's not Shadow Rider. Like the speed ties are going to be tough. Battle Bond Greninja's still banned. And so yeah, like a lot of these mons, it's hard justifying them over like the restricted Pokemon we already have, right? Where like Series 13, there was really nothing. You just kind of threw on whatever. Like you had your team, and then you could also go, oh, I don't need this attack. Like I could replace this attacking Pokemon. But yeah, I really think if I wanted to explore with Mythicals, this is where I would start. Arceus, Hoopa Unbound, Volcanion, Magearna, maybe Zarude or Pecharunt. Did they add it yet? They did not. Showdown probably won't add it until they absolutely have to, because of people practicing for Worlds.